Let's look at
One day it's gonna happen. I don't know when. I'll be on your street, but I know one day it's gonna happen, and you're gonna be swept off your feet. I don't know when, I don't know why.
The partnership itself comprises the County Council and all the boroughs and districts in West Sussex. Additionally, some town and parish councils are active participants. It also includes the NHS and police. Our original aim was to improve the customer experience by providing a joined-up service. We used our help point network as the basis for developing our strategy. Customers can make contact with the council at any of these help points, in person, by phone or fax, and via email. Friendly staff are available to help members of the public with any request for information or service. Help points are busy places. Burgess Hill, for example, handles over 3,000 customers every month. Before we begin the presentation, let's talk with Ian Lowry, Chairman of WSASP and Chief Executive of Ada and Worthing Councils.
What do you think this Open Day wants to achieve?
Well, for me, the most important thing about the Open Day is actually really to update the people that are aware of the West Sussex Accessible Services Partnership, but perhaps don't track in any sort of detail what it is we've progressed with over the past since we last presented something like this.
Can you explain how and why the partnership began?
Well, I think it was one of those things that starts out of a bit of funding and some initiatives that come forward. And as time rolled on, we found quite a lot of benefits from just sharing what our respective experiences were. So it started with a view to make a sensible, coordinated use of some funding.
And you were part of the original team, I understand.
Yes, I was, yes. I think I was the last one to step back.
And there are still some original members on the partnership?
Yes, and I think that's one of its strengths, actually. It's not been static, so that there's the same people all the way through, but there have been some people who have stayed with it throughout, and I think that gives a tremendous sense of continuity.
What do you think the West Sussex Accessible Services Partnership has achieved?
I think it's one of those things that's a little like the Romans, you know, what have they done for us? But basically what it's done is built a hugely powerful infrastructure within West Sussex of partnerships evolving from the fact that the partnership sits across the whole county, county, district and other stakeholders. And I think it's become like an exchange of partnership development.
What are the lessons that you think it has given to other people?
I think the main lesson is that it's good to talk. That's certainly one of the lessons, because once you get your ideas and projects on the table, it's amazing how much that gives us some cross-referencing, some shared learning that otherwise wouldn't have happened. So as far as I'm concerned, that's probably its most important element.
And yet you've always found time to chair the partnership meetings. Is this an indication of its value to your work?
It certainly is, and I think one of the prime lessons from the partnership is the degree to which it then feeds other ways of joining things up and actually looking for efficiencies and better ways of doing things. As far as I'm concerned, the couple of hours plus whatever travel time there is chairing these meetings is incredibly valuable, because it gives me an insight to other opportunities that we can look at across our respective authorities.
And give lessons to other groups and partnerships? Well,
yes, as you know, there's been a tremendous interest in the partnership working that's going on within West Sussex. Not just the West Sussex Accessible Services Partnership, but it's no coincidence that those partnerships are in the eye of the local government family, and some of that comes out of WSASP.
How do you think the partnership can contribute to the requirements of CSR 07?
Well, I think CSR 07 is, in some respects, quite a constraint on everything that we do. So I guess all the authorities within the partnerships are looking for ways of actually meeting those efficiency targets. And there's no question that applications of business transformation and new ways of working and new business systems is very much at the heart of some of those efficiencies. So as a contribution to that efficiency exercise and a step change in the way that we deliver services, it's absolutely fundamental.
Do you think the partnership offers good value for money?
Well, I do. I mean, I think the actual contribution that each authority is expected to make, if you look at that in the context of what else we spend, is incredibly low. When you look at how it joins up and gains learning and experience across this important part of all of our work. If we didn't have the partnership, I suspect that what we're trying to achieve would cost us much more, and on top of that, would not be as effective, and I think it's tremendously good value.
Someone described the partnership as a body that combines evolution with revolution. Do you think this is justified?
Yes, and a bit of a laugh as well, because I think it's important that we're very open and transparent about the way each of us is learning individually, but then if that gathers momentum, that becomes quite revolutionary, and I think the speed at which we've moved some of the projects on, as a result of them perhaps being chiselled out of the living rock in one of the partners, and then being whizzed very rapidly through the other, is the way in which that evolution, revolution business can move on.
The partnership won the e-Government Team Award last year. What did that represent for you?
I think it represented one of those acknowledgements of a job well done over an extended period, because you don't build a team in 5 minutes. And I think one of the things that's perhaps been interesting about this partnership is the fact that it has kept going for a good number of years. And I know, as one of the people that's been there right the way through, as well other members in the team, that there have been many times when we've been poised at a moment that might have said, is this worth the effort? But I think that drive to get it, to keep facing up to the issues that we're all trying to address collectively, is what, in a sense, was crowned by that recognition. I think it's obvious that the partnership could improve. There are always ways in which we could be more focused on some of the priorities that each of our organisations is addressing. But again, I think it comes back to that point about whether we've got the resource and the time to make that happen. And without that additional input, I think it would be very hard to see it achieving much more than it already is.
3 years to 2011 when CSR 07 finishes. What messages do you think we can give to the audience as we show them some of the new exhibits and some of the projects that we're working on?
I think I would say to the audience for this activity, I would say just look at what has been achieved and recognise already, and recognise that where we are now is also a part of history, and we're moving through that period. And it doesn't take too much imagination to roll some of those ideas forwards and see just how transformed what we do could be in that 3-year period. I think the CSR 07 is a negative in forcing us to get inside a sort of financial stroke efficiency target, but it is also a positive because it's driving us to look at more radical and transformational ways of providing service, delivering what our customers want.
Do you think that extending our boundaries beyond the traditional West Sussex County is beneficial?
I think it must be in the end, because many of the things that we do have got potential that goes way beyond West Sussex or the group of authorities that may be involved in any one initiative. Obviously that complicates things because there is more involvement in a greater number of organisations, and the governance that goes with that can therefore become rather trickier. But there's no question in my mind that looking for those economies of scale, shared procurements and unit cost efficiencies must be something that authorities at the scale of the districts and boroughs, together with the counties, must be pursuing.